March Madness edition of the Section YY8 podcast. I'm Nease. That is Harb. We're going to try to keep this compact, concise, and rolling here. Sorry we didn't get it out earlier in the week. Schedules didn't line up. So if you're listening to this, Tennessee doesn't play till Friday, so you're probably listening to this on Thursday. So we've got a day plus before the Vols play, but we'll get you all set up and ready to go. We'll give you our picks on how far Tennessee goes, maybe our national champs, Final Fours at least. We'll see how it goes out. But Harb, quick hitters, real quick. USA Baseball, World Baseball Classic. What'd you think?
A lot of good baseball. Disappointing finish. The Red Sox hit the third most home runs in the entire thing. So that was cool. I look forward to their season. The game against the Dominican Republic was just a phenomenal baseball game. And Venezuela was a pretty good game too. I want to bottle that feeling when Bryce Harper hit that home run to tie it, I believe in the eighth inning. Bottle that feeling up, sell it, crack addicts. I get them off of that. And they came up short, and it just is what it is. There's a million jokes to be made about Venezuela beating the U.S., and I'm not going to make them.
No, it was good. It was a good tournament, good series. USA just didn't hit the ball well enough the whole tournament. They did enough to get by. I saw some jokes this morning, some memes that Mark DeRosa was like, hey, our guys, they're tough. They'll battle back. I think we got them in game 2 and 3 tomorrow and Thursday because of his earlier in the week saying, oh, yeah, we're in. Or his last week, oh, yeah, we're in after they'd won their first 3 games and then they lost and it put them in jeopardy because of tiebreakers and all that stuff. I was like, Mark, like I was sitting there listening to that. I was working from home that day and I was sitting there listening to that and I was like, there's no way that they're in because no one has said they've clinched or nothing. And he said that on MLB that network that morning. I was like, I don't know that that's right. But I just kind of dismissed it and went on. And as the day went on, it caught steam and they couldn't get it. They couldn't spin it back the other way good enough. MLB Network tried to scrub the video from their archives and posts and all that, but it was too late at that point. But I thought they did a good job. I mean, they were clearly one of the 2 or 3 best teams. It was them, Mexico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, and Italy. I thought Italy was good.
Italy played well. They also had 21 American-born players on their team. So
former Vol Andrew Fisher was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He had a great tournament.
I don't blame the guys that went and played for Italy. Mm-hmm. Those Americans that have Italian heritage, you get to play in the World Baseball Classic.
No, I asked Coach Rimmer tonight. I said, I have German heritage. Could I go play for Germany?
Were they even in it?
I have no idea. No clue. I don't know if they qualified or not.
My favorite thing from the entire tournament from pool play was the Czech Republic was playing Korea or Japan, one of the two. And they had a guy come in, don't ask me his name, even if I knew it off the top of my head, I would pronounce it incorrectly. He threw 4 2/3 innings with 1 hit and scoreless against Japan or Korea. And he doesn't even play professional baseball. He is an electrician. And that is the type of stuff that you randomly get in these type of tournaments with these teams that really are not ever going to advance, but they're there. And that's just fun. Like, dude's out here 60 hours a week doing electrical work, and then randomly, let me stretch my shoulder out and throw damn near five scoreless innings against Korea. It's awesome.
He used PTO to take off for that.
Exactly. Yeah, he had to take some vacation days.
That tournament's awesome. I hope they never go back to the Olympics. They just need to play in this.
I agree. It's fun. They could potentially change the time of year. I know that'd be difficult, but maybe do it in like December. And
Yeah, I guess
then
they did it.
that would avoid like Tariq Skubal, which I see both sides on Skubal. Scott Boris is in his ear like, hey, stupid ass, you're about to make $350 million this offseason. Don't blow it up in an exhibition game, which is
And
not exhibition in my opinion. But when there's that much money on the table, I get it.
and I don't know if you saw this, but the Cubs closer Palencia was the closer for Venezuela, and he pitched on Monday night, closed the game out against Italy, and the Cubs said he could only throw if it came down to a game-winning closing situation, and so he threw last night, and I was like, but he throws every day pretty much
Yeah,
during the season. Like, what's the problem?
yeah, closer that doesn't make a ton of sense. Like if it's a starter, like Paul Skeens, for example. Like if the Pirates were like, you're not throwing on 1 day rest or whatever it was, 2 day rest. But I truly believe if it would have went to extras, he'd have been out there, and he would probably would have said, screw whatever Pittsburgh or my agent says. I'm going out there.
Yeah, I
Maybe,
agree.
maybe not. I don't know. But it was a lot of fun, and it sucks that we lost, but it is what it is. And staying on the baseball track of things, Tennessee played Georgia this weekend. Inevitably lost the series against I believe they were ranked number 8 this weekend.
Yes.
That is one of, if not, I'm not gonna say the best, but it is definitely one of the best college baseball 3 game series, like early conference play at that I've ever watched. Every
After,
game was good. Every team or both teams could have won every game. Each game came down to the last few innings, and the ending was theatrical. We'll call it that. It didn't go in our favor. Vols dropped 2 out of 3 to a very good Georgia team. They won the first. Tennessee won the first game and then lost the second two. Won the first game 7-4, second game 4-2, and then the last game was what, 9-8,
8-7.
8-7. And I'll let you take it away on the ending of the third game.
Yeah, a couple Stone Lawless looks like it wouldn't have been the game winning, it would have been the go ahead. It would have been a 2-run homer, I believe. And he pimped it big time. Thought he got it. I thought he got it off the bat. But as the ball was flying, you could tell that it was going to be close because the left fielder stopped right at the wall and it looked like, oh, he's getting ready to jump, but I didn't know where it was going to land, if he would have a chance, but he made the perfect play on it. And it really made Stone Wallace look like a fool doing that. And I get it, that's baseball today, but maybe that was gone at Lindsey Nelson. That's what he's used to. But I mean, he put a good swing on it. It wasn't a very good pitch. The left fielder just made a play, another half of a foot. There's no way he catches it. But that's what happens. It's the game of baseball. My question to you is, do you feel because the Vols have been, I don't want to say they've not been good, but they've been struggling a little bit, especially at the plate or here early in the season. Do you feel better about this team after that series this weekend? Because they seem to hit the ball a lot better. They started hitting the ball a lot better, obviously, when they played Tennessee Tech last Tuesday. But I noticed their approach looked better at the plate. They were more patient. They were taking what Tech gave them. Um, I thought they were better against Georgia this weekend. I mean, that's the best team they've played besides UCLA or I mean, they're Georgia's better than Virginia Tech and Arizona State, but um, how do you feel about the Diamond Balls real quick after that series? About the same, or do you feel better about them?
I felt better, but I felt better a couple weeks ago when we were down in Dallas or Arlington or where we were. Uh, we didn't play bad against UCLA. I don't think we've recorded since then. We didn't play bad against UCLA, and we took care of business against Arizona State and Virginia Tech, if I'm not mistaken. We beat both of them, correct? If I'm not mistaken, we beat both of them.
Yes, Arizona State and Virginia Tech. Yes.
Yeah. I was out of town, so I didn't get to watch it. Uh, but the coupling of losing a series against Kent State, which was obviously not good, and then you have to follow that up with playing the number one team in the country. Up until that point, in my opinion, the UCLA game was the best game we'd played all year. And we kind of folded after probably like the sixth inning, and they're just better than we are, which is fine. And also that was tail end of, or that was early March. Yeah, it was early March, tail end of February. You don't overreact to that, and you end up going 2 out of 3 out there, which is ultimately what you wanted. You're like, if we lose UCLA, whatever. And then you beat the two teams that you're on paper better than. And ever since then, we've just been getting better and better. And like you said, the Bats finally woke up against Tennessee Tech during the week. We won 20-2, I think, in 7. And then you go down to Athens, and you're down 4-1 or 4-0, and you end up winning 7-4. It's a great game. You lose a tough one on Saturday, 4-2, and you have a chance to win it on the weekend in a game that you led for 7 innings. And then weather became a factor, which obviously that's not an excuse. Georgia plays in it too. I'm not saying that. But it was one of those things where we had it on at work, and it was like, man, just get to the 7th with a lead and hope the skies open up so they can call this thing,
Yeah.
because it was obvious that Georgia had momentum. And ultimately, things happened the way they did. Georgia hit was it a 3-run pinch hit home run?
Think so, yeah.
A big old boy that came in,
Mm-hmm.
an absolute dong. Yeah, it's tough, but in my opinion, that was an encapsulation of what SEC baseball is. The entire series was decided by a total of, what, 2 runs?
3. 4-2. Yeah, well, yeah, no, you're right. 2 total.
Yeah, we won 4-2, or we won 7-4. They won. Actually, it was even.
It's
On
even because we won by 3 and they won by 3.
Yeah, we played 21 total innings, and the score was dead tied. And Georgia got 2 out of 3 games. Hats off to them. It was just an extremely fun series. I hate that we lost, but I think you have to leave Athens feeling optimistic about baseball season, which it's a cautious optimism, because every single weekend in SEC play, this is not new, is going to be just like that one. If you think you're going to get a breather this weekend, you're not. Play Missouri. I don't really know how good they are, but just about every team in the SEC is pretty good. This is probably one you want to capitalize on. And we also capitalized against, was it Eastern Kentucky yesterday?
Yes.
Beat them, what was it, 10-1?
10-3, I believe. Yes.
They put up 2 at the end.
Yeah. No, Tennessee needs to take 2 out of 3 from Missouri this weekend just to get back on track, because they've got they've got some tough SEC series coming up. LSU will be here in a couple weeks on Easter weekend. They've got Ole Miss here. It's the SEC. It's going to be tough every weekend.
Would you be upset with going exactly 500 in conference play? Would you be
Maybe
upset?
not this year, because a lot of I was listening last week. I can't remember who it was, but he thinks the regular season champion, the 1 seed out of the SEC this year, will have double-digit losses. So,
I believe
I think
it.
it's going to be wide open.
It's that cutthroat. I mean, Tennessee is ranked 19. I don't know. I don't know if the new polls came out yet. That's what we were this
I think they
weekend.
dropped them down. One of them dropped them to like 21. They're in the like 21 to 23 range in most of the polls.
I mean, we could easily finish the regular season ranked 20th and go into the SEC tournament ranked ninth or 10th. Like that's just how it is. And the difference between 3 or 4 in the SEC and 10 or 11 is not large. So,
Not I think the worst team's probably South Carolina. They're pretty bad.
which is crazy to say, really.
And no one, I don't know if you've seen pictures, like literally no one is going to their games, which is wild because I've been there to a game before a few years ago when Tennessee played, and it was packed. It's a huge park. It's way bigger than Lindsey Nelson. I saw a picture the other night. There's literally nobody. I mean, they're down bad in Columbia right now.
That's so crazy to me.
I mean, that was one of the perennial powers back in the 2010s in college baseball, and they've got a
Isn't
national championship coach, Paul Maneri, and I mean, they've won like 5 games in the SEC the last 2 seasons.
that's so crazy?
They're bad. They're in rough shape right now. But yeah,
But go ahead.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say I feel better about Tennessee baseball after this past weekend. I was a little worried about them just watching them in person, watching some of their at bats. Um, that series against Wright State a couple weeks ago, they were tight baseball games back and forth. Just never could get a big hit. And we're so used to Tennessee baseball getting that big bases clearing double or that big home run, and they're just not doing it right now. But this past weekend, they started to hit for some more power, extra base hit. I think they had uh it was either 3 or 4 home runs and 4 or 5 doubles, something like that, over the entire weekend, which is way more than they've had um in other games so far this year. So I'm not like nervous, or I was a little worried about them just watching them play against some of those non-conference teams, but I think college baseball is it's one of those years. It's like 2007 college football. I mean, besides UCLA, I think anybody could beat anybody. I mean, LSU got dominated in Nashville last weekend by a Vandy team that's not as good as they've been. And you watch these midweek games during the week. You know, Tennessee's not the only one that's lost a game to some of these. I mean, Florida got swept by High Point last weekend or 2 weekends ago. So it is what it is. There's just a lot of talent in this era scattered all over the place. So we'll see. But the Vols got Missouri this weekend. Hopefully they can take 2 out of 3. They're back at home at Lindsey Nelson, and we'll go from there. So let's get to the meat of why we're here, Harb. NCAA tournament. This is March. March Madness.
This,
The
this
Vols.
is March.
This is March. Poor old Tennessee. You know, by the way, some people have talked about Tennessee over the last few days. It's a wonder they even got in the tournament. People are,
We're
they're
talking about
not
the men, right?
the men. Yeah, we're not going to
Yeah.
talk about the women. I didn't even know they made the tournament. I'm kidding. No, the men's team, I've talked to people. Oh, I just don't see how we beat Miami or SMU. Oh, no way we can get by Virginia. Oh, why are we even in the tournament? I mean, is this the best Tennessee team Rick Barnes has had? No. Is it the worst? Absolutely not. I've seen a lot of nonsense on X this week that this is, quote, Rick Barnes' worst team since he's been at Tennessee. I'm like, really? It was worse than the 2015-16 and 2016-17 and 2020-21 team. Those teams didn't even make the tournament. Of course, in 2020 or 2019-20, they didn't have a tournament, but we weren't going to make the tournament that year. So how could this be the worst team? In the Rick Barnes, it was somebody corrected me and said, "Oh, I meant tournament team." I was like, "Well, you didn't say that." But um, Vols are the 6th seed. While we're recording this, Miami, Ohio, and SMU are playing for the right to move on in the tournament to play Tennessee on Friday in Philadelphia. What do you think about it, Harb?
Right now, Miami's up 8, and there's 18 minutes left, so anything can happen. But if we do play Miami, we are going to, and shout out to Big Montana for this comment. If we do play Miami, we are going to foul them on no less than 5 3-point attempts, and they might make 2 of them.
We set what the over unders at 1.5 or two and a
Yeah, the
half.
over under for 4-point play is 1.5. Uh, if we can avoid fouling them on the perimeter, I think we're okay.
I also asked Big Montana, the grass is growing a little earlier this year. I've already had to mow twice. Not a good sign for the Vols, right?
Correct, but we also got snow this week, which stunted the grass's
We
growth.
did. We did.
It is hard to tell because the tournament is starting a little bit later than it used to, which doesn't go in our favor. Um, but there was like Straw Plains got a very good dusting a couple days ago.
Yes. Yes.
However, it will be 85 this weekend, so keep that in mind for Big Montana's prediction.
Yeah.
Um, I don't hate our draw. I really don't. I think we, I think we're better than both of these teams that are playing right now. That being Miami, Ohio, and SMU. I do think we're better than them, and I really don't hate the draw against Virginia if they do advance out of the round of 64. They're good. Don't get me wrong. Do I think they're great? No. I don't think the discrepancy between us and them is that great. Uh, when we're on our game, we can compete with anybody, but obviously, when we're not and we decide to blow double digit point leads, we could lose to anybody. So there's a great chance we don't get to play Virginia. But if we do, I don't hate our draw. Oh, Jesus Christ. My God,
My
King.
God, King, what happened?
Oh my! Some guy just got speared on a pump fake. Sorry.
Goldberg spear, Ryback spear.
My God, this was awful. All right, sorry.
Oh, you're
Uh,
good.
bad podcasting.
I agree with you, Harb. I don't hate our draw. Um,
But if we play Iowa State, just go ahead and pack it
well,
in.
yeah,
Iowa State is so legit in my opinion, and I could be extremely wrong on that. Well, and since I go on this rant about Iowa State, they will probably lose to Kentucky in the round of 32. So pick your poison on that Sweet 16 matchup if we do get to that point. Um,
if
but
Kentucky gets by Santa Clara.
that is true. But I think Iowa State's one of the best teams in the country. They're obviously top 8 in the committee's eyes, but they have a great chance of winning this region, which I do think, in my opinion, Michigan is the second best team in the country. I think they're right behind Duke. Um, and there's less room for Cinderella in today's college basketball due to NIL and whatnot. We kind of saw that last year. Last year went a lot of chalk. But anyway, as far as matching up against Miami and SMU, Miami shoots a ton of threes. So if you let them get hot, it could get dangerous really fast. But I don't think they can guard us in the interior. So that puts a lot of pressure on Okpara, JP Estrella. If Jalen Carey can shoot better than 4 for 12 from inside 7 feet, that'd be great. Um, but obviously, this entire tournament run comes down to Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Amen. If they play good, we can do something. If they don't, we can't. And that just is what it is. I do think you can get away with both of them having an off game against either one of these teams if the big men take care of business. Like kind of like Both these teams are better than South Carolina, but take the South Carolina game, for example. Nate Ament didn't play. Gillespie wasn't phenomenal, but Estrella went for what, 22 and 8. Akpara had a double double. A game like that is, in my opinion, more than good enough to get you out of the first round. And I do think we're a hair underseeded, truthfully.
Well, the analytics, I look at evanmaya.com and some others, and Tennessee, there's several teams obviously that are underseeded. Tennessee's one of them. I mean, they
I think
said Tennessee,
St. John's is the worst one, in
St.
my opinion.
John's is one. Um, I think Louisville, of course, that's a little different now because they won't have Mikael Brown in their first round game. But Louisville was underseeded. I think Vandy was underseeded according to the analytics. But Tennessee was one of the higher rated teams in the underseeded category, if
Well,
not the
what are we in
highest.
Ken Palm? 16?
Somewhere like 16, 17, 18,
I
something like
think
that.
I think overall we're ranked 16 in Ken Palm, which should put you right at the worst 4 seed or the best 5 seed, depending on whatever. However, another way to look at it, which you know your favorite segment of the show is me saying piss on your analytics. If you want a 4 or a 5 seed, don't lose 11 games.
Yeah. Don't lose to Kentucky twice.
When
Don't
you
blow
have when you have a 15-point lead in both of them,
don't blow the lead to Alabama at home.
don't blow the lead against Kansas.
Yeah. And then you could say Missouri too, even though that game was pretty tight most of the way, but they were up 10 or 12 early on, but um yeah, you're right. I think I tweeted that the other day. Tennessee should be a 4 or a 5 seed at worst, but they're a 6 seed because they couldn't take care of business. That's the only thing that bothers me about this team. I feel like they should win this first game. That Virginia game, if they get to that point, if Virginia wins and Tennessee wins and they play each other, I think it's going to be a toss up, trying to look ahead at analytics and the matchup predictors and stuff. It's kind of 50-50. I mean, maybe a slight edge to Virginia, but I mean, if you look at Ken Palm, you were talking about that a minute ago. Tennessee's 16. Our two potential opponents, depending on the outcome of this game, SMU is, I just saw him here and now I've lost him. SMU is 42, so top 50, which is usually all right. Miami, Ohio is 93. Um, that put in perspective who's around him. High Points in front of him, Utah Valley, Stephen F. Austin,
What?
Notre Dame's in front of him. They were awful. Of course, High Point made the tournament, but look who's right below him. South Carolina's at 96. Like you mentioned a minute ago, we handled South Carolina without Nate Ament. I'm not sure I'm not sure South Carolina would beat Miami, Ohio.
I will say,
Um, but analytically, they're right next to each other.
I think our draw as a 6 seed is potentially better than what we could have got as more realistically a 5. So let's just say we're
Yeah.
5 in the Midwest, where Texas Tech is. You play Akron, which is the team that beat Miami, Ohio, the only team to beat Miami, Ohio. And if you win, you get a trilogy against Alabama, or you play the darling Cinderella of Hofstra. And if you win that, you get to play Michigan, which you can pretty much just pack it in. If you got to that point, Dusty May is 1-0 against University of Tennessee in his March Madness career. But then you look at the South, which is the more likely place where we'd be the 5. If you didn't lose 2 out of 3 to Vandy, which is where they are. If we were the 5 seed where Vandy is, if you win, you more than likely get Nebraska, which Nebraska is very good this year. And fun fact, they've never won an NCAA tournament game,
Yes, that's correct.
which is insane. And they are very good this year.
Hmm.
I've watched them play a few times. They are very good. And if you get past them or Troy, you get Florida, which went really good for us this year.
Yeah.
That went really well.
Yeah.
And then you look at the East. which St. John's is the 5 in the East, which is incredibly wild to me. In my opinion, they should be a 3 seed, at worst a 4, and they ended up getting a 5, which could be trouble for Duke, considering St. John's last game they beat UConn by 20. But shit, if they win their first round matchup, if it goes chalk, their reward is the round of 32, getting Bill Self and a
Yeah.
top 3 player in the country and Darren Peterson against Kansas.
Yeah. I don't
So
I don't know
being the
how
6th seed and playing one of these teams, which this game is now tied with 15 minutes left, it's really not a bad draw. Like, let me ask you a question. Would you rather play? I'm going to throw all these names in a hat, and we're just going chalk here. What team would you like to play the most out of these? Would you rather play Alabama, uh, Arkansas, Nebraska, Kansas, or Virginia? Which one would you rather play? Which team would you most think that you have the best chance of beating?
I would say Virginia or Nebraska.
So we got so even with us being a 6 seed, we're in agreement that we got a pretty favorable draw considering where we could have been.
Yeah. No, well, of course we were the quote top 6 seed, so we're going to get the worst. We should get the worst 11 seed.
I
So
don't
no,
think we did that. I think BYU did. Texas is not good.
yeah, true.
Texas
Um,
is not good. We've seen that. We've seen
I
that all year.
I still think Texas beats BYU though. I don't
I,
think BYU they limped to the finish line without what's his face,
their point guard.
DeBonce or whatever,
Well, no, he's
or
playing.
no, the other guy.
It's their point guard or their two guard.
Yeah, whichever one. They kind of limp, but I mean,
Over the
I don't think Texas is very good, but
BYU still has the best player in the country, in my opinion. I think Darren Peterson is the most talented player in the country, but he's already doing load management, so he'll probably end up in Sacramento, which would be a perfect fit. And I hate
did you see
that.
where the Tennessee State? I don't know if this was real or not. The Tennessee State player was sitting out the NCAA tournament. Was that real, or
I
did I
haven't seen,
get the wool pulled over my eyes?
I haven't seen that.
I must have. How far do you think Tennessee goes? That's the question here. Do they get to the round of 32? Do they get to the Sweet 16? What do you think?
I think we have a very good shot at getting to the Sweet 16. I don't think that we can beat Iowa State. I think we can. I mean, hell, we can beat
They
anybody.
can beat anybody,
I
but
mean,
will they?
Duke is. I haven't looked at betting odds. Duke or Michigan is probably the favorite to win it all. And we played. And keep in mind, it was October and it was exhibition and it was in Knoxville. But we have matched up against Duke, and it was a pretty good matchup. It was. They beat us, and Cameron Boozer dominated that game. They ended up beating us by what, 5, I think.
I mean, it was back and forth until they just kind of pulled away at the very end.
It was one of those games that didn't matter, but it felt like it mattered because it
Yeah.
was a full crowd, and both teams were trying, especially at the end. But it's hard to equate that in. Obviously, both these teams are different in March than they were in late October. But when this team's playing as good as they can, they can play with anybody, but hell, you can say that just about damn near every team in this field. But we've also seen this team play as good as they can for 32 minutes, and then the last 8, it's like, what in the hell are you doing? So I do think we can beat Virginia, and I think if we play them, the spread will be less than 4. I think it'll be. I think it'll be a very tightly contested game. I think the SEC is deeper than the ACC, so I think we're a little bit more battle tested than Virginia is. Virginia's only got 5 losses, and I think they're all conference losses. Um, I don't hate the matchup with Virginia. I really don't. But I did watch that at least the last probably 15 minutes of the Iowa State Arizona game. I don't see a scenario where this team gets to an Elite Eight. Unless Kentucky somehow knocks off Iowa State, and then you use the argument it's very hard to beat the same team 3 times in 1 year. But shit, at this point, like we may have the damn yips against Kentucky because we were beating the hell out of them in both games, and you end up losing both of them. So I hate to say this, but I do think the ceiling for this team Sweet 16. If we make it to the Sweet 16, I would consider that a successful year.
I think we've said that all
All
year.
things considered, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think we've all both said that, and I felt like the way this team was put together and how they performed. I've been saying it since January. I'm like, if they get to the Sweet 16, I think they're playing with house money at that point. Could they get hot and go on a run? Absolutely, but it's going to be, you get to that Sweet 16 and you're probably going to be playing Michigan if things go. And then if you win that,
That would be Elite Eight.
oh, sorry, I'm looking at the bracket wrong. So you're going to play Iowa State. If you win that one, you're going to have to play Michigan to get to the Final Four. And that's those are two of the top teams in the country if they get there. If Tennessee gets there, and if those teams get there. But I think you look at the analytics this year, everything is telling you that there's like 4 or 5 teams up here, and then there's everybody else over here. And Tennessee's in this everybody else over here category, and there might be subcategories in that everybody else category. Um, I mean, I don't know. It's like a jumbled mess over here, but then you got Duke, Arizona, Michigan, UConn, Iowa State, and Florida. There's like 6 teams that are like head and shoulders better.
And I would throw Houston in the bottom of that
Yeah,
category.
I was hesitant to because of the way they finished the season, but I mean, they would be in there too.
Or the next tier would be
You'd have like Purdue.
Houston, Houston, Michigan State, Iowa State would be
There's
the
some
next
juicy
tier.
matchups later in some of these brackets. You could have Purdue Gonzaga in the Sweet 16.
That will not happen. Gonzaga is the most overrated team in the field. I truly believe if you swapped jerseys, St. Mary's and Gonzaga's seeds would be flip flopped.
But you could have that matchup. You could have Nebraska Vandy in the round of 32.
Well,
That could be.
the juiciest one for me when I was filling out every bracket is UConn, Michigan State in the Sweet
I
16.
was going to get to that one.
I
I mean, the
think
Kansas
UConn,
St. John's game is in there.
and that's round of 32.
Wisconsin and Arkansas, don't sleep on that one. That could be round of 32. Those two teams can
Oh,
score.
I was looking ahead of that. You get Arkansas versus Arizona.
Yeah, you
I
could.
mean, there's a ton of juicy matchups, and I agree with you. But the biggest one for me was you get to the Sweet 16 if it does happen. You get UConn versus Michigan State, and how the hell do you pick against Tom Izzo?
It's tough
But
this time
also,
of
how do
year.
you pick against Danny Hurley?
It's
Like,
tough this
like,
time of year because these guys are proven winners.
but I do think I think Gonzaga's out in the round of 32. I've got BYU going fairly. I ain't gonna say deep, but I've got them making it out the first weekend. I think I've got the best player in the country. He has carried them consistently all year. They have played far better competition than Gonzaga. I saw a stat today, which I don't know how crazy this is, but it sounded crazy. AJ DeBonce has accounted for 31% of BYU's points this season. That seems insane to me.
Jeez, that's
I don't know, like the comparatively speaking to other seasons of past, that seems ridiculous to me.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it'll be. This is one of my favorite times of the year uh, especially in years with World Baseball Classic, because last night we had the final, which we're recording this Wednesday night. So Tuesday night we had the WBC final, and it kicked off the first four. Then IT started, which I'm not going to pretend like I watched that a lot. Spring training, obviously, and then the big dance, and the national championships on Monday. And typically that Thursday is when the Masters starts. We just had the players. Time changes. Everybody's mood starts to swing because it stays light after Jeopardy's over. It's just so perfect.
This is the
It's
greatest time of year. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love that late
I will
August.
take this over the opening weekend of NFL every single time.
I was just say a lot of people talk about the last weekend of August, 1st of September when college football starts and then NFL. No, this stretch from the 1st of March to about the second, third week in April. There's nothing better.
Yeah,
There's championships all over. You've got golf, baseball, college basketball. You've got the Masters. You got WrestleMania. I mean, you got all this stuff going on this time of year, and this is
I
the best
agree.
time of year.
I agree.
Well, we'll watch the Vols. I'm actually, Dr. Neese got tickets to the NCAA tournament in Greenville, South Carolina at the Bond Secure or what Bilo Center, whatever that arena is called over there in
That
Greenville.
is that where we're playing?
No, thank God.
Where are we playing?
We're in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's right.
Tennessee's in Philly.
That's right.
This block of games on third tomorrow, or if you're listening to this today, you got Duke versus Siena, Ohio State in the 8-9 game is Ohio State versus TCU. That should be, I think that could be a good game. Um, you've got Illinois versus somebody, whoever the 14 seed is, they're playing. I about said Hofstra. Now I got to
No,
look it
that's who
up.
Bama's playing, and they are going to beat Alabama.
Hofstra's going to beat Alabama.
Yep, yep.
Wow.
I'm calling it on the show.
So everybody pick Alabama.
Illinois is playing Penn.
Yes, they're playing the Quakers, Pennsylvania. And then I think the game of the day in Greenville could be this North Carolina VCU game, Virginia Commonwealth University game. It's a 6-11 game. I think it's the second game of the day tomorrow. I can't remember. But anyways, let's look.
I've
It
got
is
I've
it's at
got VCU.
6:50. It's the first game of the night session. So that'll be great.
I've got VCU in that one.
I've gone back and forth. That line is close. Analytics say it's a coin flip. North Carolina without Caleb Wilson, that could go either way.
It's hard. It's hard to trust a team without their best player. I'll just put it to you that way. And a lot of people are going to bet and pick North Carolina because of name value.
And
And
they'll
yes,
have a home crowd in Greenville.
and yes, they are North Carolina. But when you're missing a player that is 1,000% a lottery pick, but more importantly, probably a top five pick in the draft, that's a big hole to fill. And I also think their coach is kind of stupid, Hubert Davis. Like he's a good dude. He shouldn't be the head coach of North Carolina if we're just talking strictly
I don't
college
think he's a
basketball.
bad coach, but I don't think he's
Ain't
at the
good.
level of North Carolina wants.
Would you rather have Rick Barnes or Hubert Davis?
Oh, Rick Barnes,
All right then.
no doubt. Well,
And
we'll see what Rick's got up his sleeve. I'm hoping that this is Nate Ament come out party. Like, everybody's heard about him. Not that kind of coming out hard, but I hope it's one of those things
why'd you say me?
because you had that look on your face.
I
You
didn't
know when
say
I
nothing.
say
I just
things
thought
and you
it was a little
but you
interesting
know what I'm
choice of words.
saying. I'm saying like Nate Ament comes out, has a really good game against SMU or Miami, Ohio, whoever they play. And then he comes out against Virginia or whoever we play there. Wright State, I think, is who Virginia's playing. Is that right? I
That
can't remember.
sounds correct.
But
Yes.
whoever we play in that round of 32 game, and he scores 24 and has 10 points and 8 assists. And everybody's like, man, have y'all seen this Amit kid? He's one of them lottery picks. He's going to be top 10. But that's what, we talked about it earlier back in like January, February, March, or December. You remember that Carmelo Anthony run when he was at Syracuse in 2003? He like took over and carried them. I know they had a talented team, but they're not winning the national title in New Orleans that year without him. And he was you could tell he was a pro on the court. Does Tennessee get that out of Nate Amen? I know he played really well against Auburn there in that second half and kind of took over. He was really kind of non-existent against Vandy in that quarterfinal game in Nashville last weekend. It wasn't for lack of effort. I mean, he had plenty of shots. It just looked like his legs weren't there, but he's had now 2 weeks to get recovered from that knee and ankle and whatever he had. Like, do we see that out of him this week? I hope so, because they're going to need him because Jacoby Gillespie's not shot the ball well the last 2 or 3 weeks. We really don't have much of an offensive threat from anybody else. If we get it down low to our post guys, they can't make a layup to save their life. Even if nobody's around them, they can't make it. Um, I just think it's one of those things like we're going to have Ament and Gillespie carries, like you said earlier. And if they come out and they're 2 for 15 combined from the field, it's going to be hard for Tennessee to win because they just don't have much else around. They don't have a proven scorer. I know Evans played pretty well against Vandy, but that was just a flash in the pan. I mean, and I think Evans is going to be good. I think Bishop Boswell is a nice player. He's made progress this year, but we just don't have that that third or fourth guy. Who's the third man? We don't have that on this team, and it's going to be up to those two to Marshawn Lynch this thing and put the team on their backs. And I think if they play well and they shoot the ball well and they're efficient on the offensive end, Tennessee will be fine. But they can't get in foul trouble and they've got to shoot the ball moderately well. They can't go down, and Gillespie can't go 1 of 9 from three, or Ament can't go over from the field deep into the second half like he did against Vandy. It's just not going to work. And Tennessee, we shouldn't expect them to do this, but they've got to shoot their free throws better. They've just got to. I don't know. They can't make a layup, and they're 60% free throw shooters. I don't get it, but I'm confident that they can get to the Sweet 16. It's going to be tough. It'll be a grinded out game against Virginia if they get to that point. It could be a grinded out game against Miami or SMU, but I think they can get there, and I've picked them to go there. But if we don't, I'm not going to be shocked. And I hate that because we've gone from back to back Elite Eights, back to back two and three seeds or whatever we were, to a 6 seed who is probably better than that, but we've been punished because we didn't take care of business, and that's their fault.
I agree with most of the things you just said, except for a couple things. One,
Okay.
we do have a third man, and his name is Maury Evans.
I like
I,
Evans.
I would love nothing more than for Barnes to let him off the leash and for him to get more minutes than Boswell potentially in this tournament. And two, just based on what I've seen from both of these teams on the inside, just strictly for our offensive game, I think you can get away with the first round matchup if Gillespie and Ament aren't on their A game, because I think we can dominate both these teams in the post. I think if Estrella and Okpara kind of get busy, I think we can beat both these teams. Now, defense is going to be hard if it is Miami, Ohio, because they're now at 10 with 9.5 minutes left.
Mm.
Because 1 through 5 are shooters. So you're going to have athletic guys that don't foul on the perimeter. They can get out there and guard them. So it's probably going to throw our lineups off just a bit if we do get behind. I think if you get ahead, you can dictate the game and how it goes and so forth. But if you want to make it past first weekend, you have to have your horses go. Not arguing with that whatsoever. I think you can get out of the first game without that. I forgot. B.J. Edwards plays for SMU.
Yeah, and
Uh,
he's injured. He's got an ankle injury. He just they
correct.
held him
Yeah,
out tonight,
yeah. Well, he's been out since February 25th. It just
but
popped
they
up.
said they thought he might play tonight, but they said they're going to hold him out in hopes that he would be ready if they won for the round of 64,
They might
which
go
would
put
be
his
fitting if they won,
they
but they're
might go put his
behind.
jersey on and come out of the curtain like a old WWE pay per view. Um, but yeah,
So
uh, we do need Gillespie to get out of his slump if you want to make it out the first weekend. I think we can survive the way we've been playing first round game. You're not going to beat Virginia with Gillespie throwing up a tour date from the field. If he shoots April 17th, you're not going to win. You're just not. But yeah, I think we can physically impose both these teams inside. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with Sweet 16 with our draw, and honestly, if we go out in the round of 32 and Virginia just beats us, like if we play pretty decent and we don't blow a double digit lead, it won't be the end of the world for me. I'll be upset, but if Virginia's just better than us, they're just better than us. That's one thing, but I don't hate our draw against them.
So the game's on Friday, 425, I believe, on the Superstation, TBS, WTBS, as they used to call it back in the day when the Braves were on. Where are you going to be watching Friday, Harb? Are you having to work?
Well, unfortunately, I got to be at work at 5, so
Ooh,
yeah, brutal. So the first 30 minutes of the game, I'll be listening to Mike Keith. And then
hey,
after that,
that's not a bad thing. He's
it's
good.
not, it's not, but I did have this conversation at work, and I don't want to get too long winded on this. Mike Keith on basketball stresses me out.
He's grown on me. I'll say this. He's grown. I was leery
No,
of
no,
him.
Mike Keith's phenomenal. I'm very happy to have him, but football, he's top tier. Obviously, his work speaks for itself. Basketball, he's also good, but if you tune in and you don't know the score, you
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know if it's tied, if they're down 20, or if they're up 20.
Yeah, I've noticed. I've had to
And
listen to them a lot this
and
year on
it's
the
literally
radio.
like grab your nitroglycerin pills because you don't know what's going on.
I, I've had
It falls to the wall.
I've had to listen to them quite a bit on the radio this year because of work and just not being at home when the games are on. And he's grown on me because I didn't know what to expect because he's only done football and he did baseball obviously at UT decades ago. But the one that's grown on me, like at the start of the season, you could tell he was out of his comfort zone, very uncomfortable, was Chris Lofton, the color analyst. And as the season's gone on, he's opened up. He's come out of his shell. He's opened up. He's commenting. He's talking to Mike Keith. He's like, "Get you some of that, Mike," after a big play or something like that. So he's gotten better. I enjoy listening to Mike Keith. I wasn't a Bob Kessling hater like some was on the basketball side. I thought he did a good job. Him and Burt got to talking too much though. There'd be something going on down the court and they're talking about what happened 2 plays ago or somebody eating a hot dog up in the stands. But I didn't mind Bob Kessling all that much. But Mike's done a very good job this year. Obviously, he's fantastic, one of the goats of football radio announcing. But he's gotten better with basketball, so that's not the worst thing you could do. I'll be in Spartanburg watching. Actually getting to play home of the, I believe it was final round of the 2024 Straw Plains Open. I'll be at Spartanburg Country Club Friday morning. They invited me back as a guest
It'll be
for
fun.
hosting the 2024 Open there, I
So
guess.
when you go have lunch in the
Yeah.
clubhouse, we see if you can find Brett's ball.
Yes, I
Right.
think they're still looking for it.
Well, we're going to be playing Miami of Ohio.
What's the score now?
It is 71-57 with 7 minutes
Mm.
left.
The Vols versus
And
the
they
Red Hawks.
and they just hit an absolute dagger. A little white boy that
Who are the
looks like he played.
two?
Looks like
Who
he
are
played
the two
quarterfinal.
most famous athletic alums of Miami, Ohio, Harbin?
I know one without a doubt is Ben Roethlisberger, and I'm 99% sure the other one was Byron Leftwich.
No, he was Marshall.
Marshall,
This
that's
is a
right.
basketball player, a Caucasian basketball player who is on TV now. He's an analyst. I'll give you a hint. He's an analyst on CBS NCAA basketball.
Oh, fuck. Um,
Oh,
it,
you're gonna go. Oh, I knew that when I say it.
what era did he play in the NBA?
He would have been in the early 2000s era. Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh, Wally.
Yes, Wally Zerbiak.
Wally. Wally. Nice. I did not know he went to
Yes,
Miami,
I
Ohio.
remember him because
I knew.
they were really good at Miami when he was there, and then he got drafted and played with Garnett, I believe, up there in Minnesota.
Yeah, it was him, Sam Cassell, Latrell Sprewell was on
Because
that team.
I had NBA Live '99, and I always wanted to play with the T Wolves because I love their court, their uniforms, and Garnett, Zerbiak. I think he was 90, or maybe it was another game year after that, but I always played with the T Wolves.
Well, they went to the Western Conference Finals in it was the year that Garnett won MVP, I think, which
Can't
was
remember.
'01 or '02, I
Can't
believe. I think
remember.
it was '02 was when they went to the Western Conference Finals and they inevitably lost to
Probably
the.
ran into LA.
Or no, 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 no. It was yeah, I don't know. It was one of those teams, but
Well, Harb, I'm gonna wrap this thing up. There was something else I was gonna ask you about,
oh,
and
what's your
now
final four? What's your final four?
my final four is so chalk. I'm embarrassed, Harb.
Don't tell me it's straight ones. Did you pull a
It's
Joe Buck?
not.
You tell me.
It's
Okay,
not. It's not straight chalk, but I have Duke. I have a hard time seeing anybody beating Duke,
I do too.
especially if they get back to full strength. Now, if they're not at full strength, it could be up in the air. But I have Duke versus Florida, and I have Arizona versus Iowa State. I have Iowa State taking down Michigan. I like Iowa State.
I do too. I think they're real tough.
And
This isn't
I have Iowa State and Duke in the championship with Duke winning.
this isn't in my bracket for the CBS Sports Challenge, the or for the YY8 Challenge. It's for one that's honestly more important in my opinion, which is my work one, because I have to see them every day and put more thought into that one. I believe, hang on, I have Duke playing Illinois. I love
I can
Illinois,
see Illinois because they'll have to get by what Houston,
Houston,
and then the one seed in that region is what Florida.
Florida. Yes,
If Florida can get by
I
Vandy or
love
Nebraska,
I love Illinois for some reason. They're big. They can shoot it. Like
I can see
they don't
that.
have a huge weakness. But I have Duke playing Illinois, and I have actually Arkansas playing Michigan, and then I have Duke, Michigan in the final, and I have Duke winning.
It's going to be fun to
For
watch.
some
It's
for some
they're
reason, I can see Arkansas getting hot. I actually have Arkansas playing BYU in the Elite Eight, and I kind of hate that, but I think those are the. I think those two teams have the two best players in that region. And when you get to this time of year, it is guard dependent. But if you have the best player on the court, that is a huge advantage in this tournament. And Arkansas could lose in the round of 32. They could, but if Acuff gets hot, I think they could beat just about anybody in the tournament.
And John Calipari's their coach.
And they have Calipari, and that's what. But on that same logic, you look at the East region, round of 32, you could get Rick Pitino versus Bill Self, and the winner goes up against Duke. It's just awesome. Like, I love upsets, don't get me wrong, but and upsets are what makes this tournament special. But once you get to like the Elite Eight, Final Four, you truly want the best teams in the country playing each other. Like you just do. Like it's cool for like if High Point were to go to the Elite Eight or Hofstra or whoever. But at the end of the day, you want to see the best 4 to 6 teams playing each other. And in my opinion, Duke and Michigan are the two best teams in the country, and I see them having a rematch. And I see Duke winning again. That's just how I see it. I don't want that to happen because I kind of hate both of those schools. But that's just what I see. Like I think Cameron Boozer is the best college player in the country. I think AJ DeBonce and Darren Peterson are the most talented players in the country. But I think as far as like college basketball goes, I think Cameron Boozer is the best. And yeah, it's just they're deep, they're excellent, and since both of us think that they're going to win it, they will probably get beaten around to 32 by TCU.
Yeah. And maybe I'll be there to see it because we're going
That'd be really
Saturday.
cool. That'd be really cool. So,
Real quick before we get off of here, jumping off the NCAA March Madness, Lady Vols softball, they've lost a game, Harb. And you know what the score was of that game? 1-0. They
yeah,
lost it in the eighth inning on a walk-off home run. But no harm, no foul. They won the series against a good Mississippi State team. In that place, I watched some of that series. They had fans like lining up outside like an hour and a half, 2 hours before the game, before the gates opened to get in. Electric atmosphere in Stark Vegas. Lady Vols, though, took 2 out of 3. Carlin Pickens returned. They're 26-1, still number one in the country.
yeah. I mean, you're going to lose a couple games here and there.
Yeah, especially in this SEC is good in softball.
Did Bama stay undefeated this weekend?
I do not know.
I do know. I saw this on TV. Tennessee and Bama at the time were the only two undefeated teams in D1. And
Well, I know Tennessee's still ranked number one. Let's look at the standings very quickly here. Um, God, Florida and Texas are 6-0. Oklahoma's 3-0. Alabama's 5-1. Tennessee's 5-1. I don't understand. Like A&M's 2-1. Anyways, Tennessee's 27-1 overall. So is Alabama. Oklahoma's 29-2. Texas is 26-1. Florida's 29-1.
so conference play is going to be fun.
That could be just sending all those teams to Oklahoma City for the
Yeah, just about.
CWS. Good grief. Well, Harb, I'm gonna get off here. I got to finish packing. I've got a long day tomorrow of travel to Spartanburg, South Carolina, and then Greenville, South Carolina, and then back to Spartanburg for the rest of the weekend. I'll be there. I am nowhere near Philadelphia, so for those that want to blame me for Tennessee losses, I'm nowhere near Philadelphia. I'm not there. It's not on me this time, Joey Cox. You heard it here first. The bracket challenge is out. If you're listening to this, it's probably too late to enter, but if you've entered, good luck to you. Hope can't see if you can beat Nease and Harb. I don't know what's on the line. I haven't really thought about that. We'll give you a high five or a shout out or something, I guess, or a bro hug maybe.
No, we'll get the winner.
We'll get something. We'll get it. We'll get you something. Whoever wins,
We'll figure it out.
unless it's somebody we don't like, right?
Actually, the official prize is a mystery box.
Oh,
It's a mystery box.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Um, But hope everybody enjoys Thursday, tomorrow, and Friday, two of the greatest days you'll ever have. Basketball all day long. I've seen this picture floating around the web, and kids today will not understand this, Harb. They said when you were in school and you saw your teacher roll this bad boy in, you knew it was March Madness, and it's the big 32-inch TV getting rolled in on that roller stand into your
The old
classroom. You knew
the old
the
Magnavox.
old Magnavox 32-inch
Yeah.
television.
It was as deep as it was wide.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had one in my bedroom. So I actually had a 19-inch. Mom and dad wouldn't let me, said the other ones were too expensive. So back in the day, and it was wild. People again, people today don't understand, and I don't mean to belabor this or like go on, but we didn't have where you could watch every game. You only got what was on Channel 8 here in Knoxville. That was it, and it was mainly like if Tennessee wasn't playing, it was like Kentucky or North Carolina or whoever else was in the region. That was the only game you got. And
Yeah.
there was one game per day, per hour. There's 4 games a day. You only got those 4 games. They would have some break-ins and move you around from time to time, but it was none of this like 4 games at your fingertips like we've got now. I mean, even when I was in college, you had to log in to marchmadness.com and they would put you in a waiting room because they could only take so many people in to watch any game you wanted to watch. So the viewing is way different than it was back when I was growing up. Um, Kind of miss that a little bit sometimes because now you got every game at your fingertips, which I enjoy, but it's like you're sitting there watching the top of the screen in the right corner and they would flash the scores up periodically. It's like, oh man, somebody's in trouble. That one seed's in trouble up there. We got an upset brewing over in Winston-Salem today. And one other thing somebody brought up said, this is my annual argument to bring back the non-modernized NCAA tournament courts. It's just got the generic NCAA logo on it with the city
Mhm.
name and the arena. Back in the day, like they hosted the Mid-East Regional or the Southeast Region at Thompson Bowling, and they just had Tennessee's court down. And they had the
Yeah.
state outline on it with the little NCAA sticker somewhere on the court. And you knew like, oh, they're playing in Knoxville or whatever random, like if they're playing at the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Coliseum, it was just a plain court that said BJCC on it. You knew like, oh, they're in Birmingham. But those days are long gone.
The
Hard.
women, the women still kind of do
Yeah.
that. Oh,
Sometimes yes they do.
by the way, super quick. Speaking of women's basketball, Carson Emmons women have made it to the Elite Eight of the D2 Women's National Championship Tournament,
Yes.
and they have bludgeoned the first 3 teams they've played. Um, Bludgeon's a little crazy, but their first round game, I believe they won by 12. Second round game, they won by 15. And then in the Sweet 16, they played Lenore Ryan, who I believe won the SAC this year, beat them by 19.
Wow.
So
Carson Newman's on. They've had a good women's program for a while.
they have, and I believe they went to the Final Four one year that I was there, maybe two.
It was a few years ago, yeah.
I want to say one
They
year
had a
they.
girl. There was a girl there that my uncle played high school basketball with at Cott County. His daughter played
Yeah. So
Way Wester, I think was
shout
her
out to
name.
the Eagles, the Lady Eagles. Bring it home to Mossy Creek one time.
Be nice to bring back some gold to Mossy Creek. Haven't done that since the Ken Sparks days.
No, women's soccer got close. I remember they lost the national championship when I was there. Lost an absolute heartbreaker, 1-0.
Mm,
Yeah, it was
mm. Well,
it
Harv,
was fun, though. It was
I'm
fun
gonna,
though as a student.
I'm sure it
Everybody
was
getting together watching it. Don't necessarily
at
look
Holt
that
Field
much.
House.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. It was. Yeah, we had a whole watch party for it and everything. It was fun. But anywho,
Well, I'm gonna wrap this up. I still got to get my stuff together for tomorrow. Like I said, traveling in the morning. So, I hope everybody enjoys the NCAA tournament, whether you're watching men or women. So good luck to you in your brackets. Good luck to you in your betting, whatever you're doing, however you're enjoying the tournament. I hope you enjoy it. And it's like I said, it's the best 2 days of the year in my humble opinion. So enjoy it. Don't take it for granted. Thank you
and,
guys. Oh,
and
oh,
we are
Harb's.
playing the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. Oh shit! I thought you made back to back. Yeah, they're up. They're up 13.
So it's the almost official Vols versus Red Hawks on Friday in Philadelphia. So
Up 11 with 2.5 minutes left. This thing's pretty much cooked.
I think that one's over probably. So
Yeah.
well, everybody, thanks for listening. We will see. I don't know when we'll record next. I don't know when I'm coming home. If the Vols lose, I might not come home, Harb.
I'll just stay where you're at.
I just stay over there. Um, take me a shower out there at the swimming pool.
Top five.
You top five shower, right?
Top five.
I can just live out there and be fine. Maybe Eric will let me do some yard work or something to pull my weight. Um, but yeah, appreciate everybody listening. Remember where you can find us at YouTube channel. If you're watching us, thank you for watching. If you're listening, thanks for listening on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get it from. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. For Harb, I'm Nease, and we'll see you guys next time on the Section YY8 podcast.